which is very creative since it's a white cat. But whatever, you know, it's cool. She lives, where does she live, Hello Kitty? Right? Specifically? It's 30-minute bus ride outside of London. Very good. Okay. And she has a twin sister named Mimi. Mimi! Exactly. And the way you tell them apart is because Hello Kitty wears her bow on the left side, and Mimi wears her bow on the right side. Now, traditionally, this was Hello Kitty's bow was red, and Mimi's bow was yellow, but of course they've been all kinds of crazy colors since then. That was traditionally. The company actually got started in a previous version back in 1960. It was originally called the Yamanashi Silk Center. It was started by a fellow named Shintaro Tsuji, born in the Yamanashi Prefecture of Japan. And well, the company was the Yamanashi Silk Center. He was lived originally born near Mount Fuji, and born December 7th, 1927. And he was orphaned at about age 13. Actually, his mother died. His father just kind of abandoned him. He was raised by an aunt and uncle. Tried pretty hard to conform to the ideas of the Japanese society, where he should get a good paying job and just sort of stay in that job until he dropped dead, basically. And he had a good government job. He always had this kind of entrepreneurial spirit, so he quit his government job when he was 32, started his own company. And why was the Yamanashi Silk Center? Well, that's what the main trade is in that area of Japan that he's from. And so he was very interested in that kind of product because that's what there was. And he very quickly began to branch out into a lot of different things, different textiles and merchandising. He became a student of a lot of Western entrepreneurs that he really admired, and eventually came to business with many of them and met some of his idols like Charles Schultz. He tried once in the 60s a partnership with the founder of the Hallmark Company, which I can't really remember his full name, except his name was Mr. Hall. Yeah, that's kind of big time. He tried a partnership with Mattel and Barbie. Who knew that Japanese girls did not want blonde dolls big? That did not go at all. Okay, but you know, moving along, we tried all these different ventures. Actually, though, his partnership with Charles Schultz had endured for many years, even beyond Schultz's death. Although the Peanut Syndicate rights were recently bought by the same company that owns a lot of other cartoon-type properties like Betty Boop and Joe Camel and stuff. So I don't know how that's going to go moving forward. But for many, many years, and if you've ever been into a Sanrio store, maybe you've seen this, if you go into the Sanrio store, and for some reason they have Peanuts merchandise. Why the heck is that? It's because of this partnership that they've had going on for all these years. So anyway, he's very interested in merchandising and all this kind of stuff. Walt Disney was another one of his heroes. Sadly, he never get to meet Mrs. Disney because he passed away. I think it was 1956 before he got around. Anyway, so the company is going along. He's learning different things. He's moving into different areas. And some things are successful, some things not. And he's doing a lot of deals where he's licensing other characters. So when you're licensing a character to somebody else, you've got to pay royalties for that. So like Peanut stuff, he's got to pay a royalty for that. But he finally gets the idea that what he should do is design his own characters. Aha, because that's where the real money is. So in 1973, he changed the name of the company. It's not the Yamanashi Silk Center anymore because that's not really evocative of what he was trying to do. He wants to be a big multinational, international company branching out to all this different stuff, and Yamanashi Silk Center kind of doesn't really convey that. So he thinks he's going to come up with this great name, making sure that he's not going to accidentally use something that's offensive in another language. And being a student of history, he thinks that the greatest cultures of human history have grown up around rivers, like the Egyptians, the Babylonians, and the Chinese. And these three cultures that sprung up around rivers, this is kind of influencing his decision making. So from that you get sun, right? People know that, right? Sun, right? Sun is three. And then the second part of the word is Rio. River, right? Okay. So that is where the name comes from. The word Sanrio means three rivers. And so there's the new name of this company, 1973. Around this time, he starts hiring a lot of young art students. Young kids who need a job. Like, hey, come and draw for me, kids. I'll with you. So he gets them to start designing his characters for him. And he thinks about this a great deal. Now, what are the animals, what kind of animals do kids really like? What's got a really broad appeal? Now, in his opinion, he thinks the three animals that would have the greatest appeal to the widest audience are basically dogs, cats, and bears. Now I know we have these scientific research reports. That's what I think that's pretty good, dogs, cats, and bears. He considered a lot of animals, but those were kind of his top three. So then, considering that, he thinks dogs. Well, he already had to deal with Charles Schulz, and Snoopy was and is an incredibly popular character in Japan. Anybody been to Japan? People have been to Japan. Okay, Snoopy, right? Snoopy, am I kidding? Snoopy is crazy, crazy popular. You're going to toy stores there's an entire floor with nothing but Snoopy. And by the way, to Japanese people, that's what Peanuts is. Snoopy, we think of Peanuts as like, it's the great Christmas strolling around, and he might crack the tree, and, you know, Linus hiding out, looking for the great pumpkin, and whatever. You know, we think of all of these stories, and Lucy pulls the football away, and Charlie Brown hits his head, okay, whatever. We think of all that stuff. No, the Japanese Peanuts is Snoopy, and aren't there some kids that hang around here sometimes? They don't know. So, it's Snoopy. So anyway, so we got dogs, cats, and bears. There's the dog. Well, obviously he's not going to create characters that's more popular than Snoopy, and even if he did, he's kind of competing against himself. So, there goes that. Bears. Anybody ever heard of this yellow bear that really likes honey, hangs out in the neighborhood? Okay, so Winnie the Pooh. Again, people have been to Japan, right? Winnie the Pooh, crazy popular. Not as popular as Snoopy, but still, really popular. Cats. Okay, here's where we've got an opening. Cats. Imagine that it's like late 73, early 1974. Okay, really use your imagination, because I know most people here were born then. But anyway, there really was not a big popular cat character at that time. The only one that really comes to my mind is maybe Doraemon, which is a blue robot cat found in space, so I'm just going to go ahead and toss that one. Blue robot cat found in space, doesn't it? So cat. He talks to one of his new fresh college graduate art design students, a young lady by the name of Yuko Shimizu, and he gives her the job of designing this cat character that he wants to put on a coin purse. That was his original idea. Sells to joyful little girls in Japan a coin purse. And in fact, it was this coin purse, right here. It was, this was the very first Hello Kitty product that was designed. It came out in 1975. So, in August of 1974, Yuko Shimizu designed this little white cat with a big round head and a tiny body, and sort of imbued her with some of her own personality traits. I remember one of the quotes was that Kitty was more inclined to like catnip. Catnip. And while she was somewhat anthropomorphic, meaning human-like, she really was not really very much like a regular cat. And of course, there's that big thing that everybody always notices is that she doesn't have a mouth. We'll talk more about it. But anyway, so that's August 1976. November 1st, 1974, that's the day Hello Kitty was introduced to the world. So that is, I'm sure all of our hearts are Hello Kitty fans here know, November 1st, 1974. That's Hello Kitty's birthday. So last year it was like a big 35th anniversary. And by the way, this year, if any of you guys have seen it, they're doing this like 50th anniversary thing. It's not really a 50th anniversary. It's 50th anniversary of the Yamanashi Silk Center, but Sanrio has only been around since 1973. So I think it's a little disingenuous, but I will still buy the 50th anniversary merchandise. That's still buying it, but it's really a lot. It's a lot. So there we go. 1974, there's Hello Kitty is introduced, and at that time, they had a few other characters that came out around that same time. There was Patty and Jimmy, My Melody, Little Twin Stars, these kind of characters. Some of them, you know, have really maintained popularity. So around fabulous book that I believe is still available. It came out in 2004. This is the Hello Kitty and Marvel's Story of Sunrise and William Miller. If you like phenomenon, you must read if you're a core Hello Kitty fan. The most recent data that they had in here was probably from like 2002 or 2003. They estimated that there have been over 450 different characters designed by Sanrio at that time. Out of all of those characters, Hello Kitty alone accounts for more than half of the sales. Just that one character. So it's interesting to me that somehow, accidentally or for whatever means, maybe they used to J. I don't know. what? Is that